Political reporter, chief political reporter Cynthia Fodor, and Tom and Matt, and get their reactions to these results that have just come in.
Well, I can tell you Matt's reaction when Kim Reynolds was projected the winner. There was a huge sigh. Yeah. I don't know if you even realized that, Matt, but I know it was sort of a real nail biter for you over there. Yeah. What do you think made the difference?
Well, that was the sigh of probably 600,000 other Iowa Republicans at about the same time around the state tonight. You know, I think the personal touch, her personal story to Iowans, and you have to remember that, yes, she was an incumbent, but it was under unusual circumstances. So this was really the first time she had an opportunity to introduce herself to Iowa voters, the first time they've had an opportunity to circle in the oval next to her name. And I think what they found in Kim Reynolds is somebody that they relate to, and somebody that has an incredible passion for this state and laid out a vision for the future.
And what about the economy? Her message was, the economy is humming here. Let's keep Iowa moving, KIM. Low unemployment rate, wage growth, the numbers that have come out recently.
Yeah, and to be fair to Fred Hubbell, it's tough to make the case that things are going to heck in a handbasket when you've got 2.5% unemployment, when you've had 3 straight quarters of rising family incomes in your state, when you're hearing from your employers their biggest challenge is actually finding workers to fill the jobs that exist in this state. So, very tough for Hubbell to make the case that you need to change the way things are going in Iowa when we have been going in the right direction. And I'm confident in her leadership, and I'm excited that Iowans believe in her, and we're going to have 4 years of a Reynolds administration.
And Tom, why do you think Hubbell, he was out there working hard every day? Why did he not do as well as you had hoped?
Well, I think, like Matt indicated, when you have a good economy, it's sometimes hard to beat an incumbent. Made a difference, and I think some of the problems that Fred thinks are on the horizon are going to come to fruition later, but they're not here yet. So I think that makes a big difference too. So it's just tough whenever you have this type of economy that's humming along. I think she probably wasn't as tied to Trump maybe as some of the Republican candidates, so I don't think she got the big backlash either. So I don't know what else it would have been. Fred Hubbell's a good guy. I think he gave a really strong effort in this campaign, and it's a close election. I mean, he's got nothing to be ashamed of, but it's just tough. And this is a big deal because this means that the Republicans will have a governor when we redistrict after 2020. And so that's a big deal. Matt would acknowledge that, puts them in the driver's seat to at least have a big seat at the table when we go to drop the new districts. We'll have to see what happens in 2020. Hopefully the Democrats can gain the House and the Senate. We'll see what happens then too.
And we're still waiting to hear. It looks like you picked up 7 seats. Democrats picked up 7 seats in the House at this point. Not enough to flip it to Democratic control.
Right, and the thing we have to do is to try to take that as a positive step going to 2020 when we can take over the House. In the Senate, they'll have a lot more seats they're defending. This time we were defending just like the Democrats were doing on the national level. So we'll be able to be in a more aggressive mode then too. So the legislature will be a possibility in 2020 because we'll have a bigger turnout. Hopefully we'll have a strong presidential effort and be able to possibly turn the legislature as well. So
the state will still be under Republican control. What will the agenda be moving forward?
Well, and I think that's what we're going to see when the governor's going to bring together legislative leadership, and I think especially in the House, a few of the folks, the incumbents that did unfortunately lose tonight, had very significant positions, committee chairs. So I think the leaders are going to get together and have the conversation with their caucus, take their lessons away from this. But I think what you saw from Governor Reynolds on the campaign talked about seeing what we can do to still make Iowa's tax code even more competitive for those companies that want to come here, continue to invest in K-12 education, and really focus on infrastructure and investing in the type of workforce and quality of life initiatives that will help us fill all those jobs here.
And any thoughts, Matt, on Steve King holding on to his seat in the end? Not that you ever doubted it.
It's the 4th District. Steve King wins elections in the 4th District.
Usually by very wide margins, and J.D. Scholten did give him a run for his money this time.
Right, he did a very good job, and I listened to King's speech, and I don't think King has a clue of the fact that one of the reasons it was so close was because of the way he acts. And I still think he's an embarrassment for Iowans. Iowa is a great state, and the types of things he said are not true of what Iowa believes. So I still don't think he gets it. We'll see what happens in the next election, whether we make a run at him when we have a higher turnout and maybe get him next time. And I hope JD thinks about doing it again. We'll see what happens.
And we're waiting for Governor Reynolds to come out and give her victory speech. But we're hoping that both of you are kind of going home feeling good about some things tonight.
Yeah, you know, it's like anything in life. You don't get everything you want. You know, I'm not going to lie. It hurt to see my buddy David Young up there. But man, I couldn't be more excited for Kim Reynolds. And I think, there's a lot of Iowa Republicans that are feeling that. And, I'm thinking about folks that have been on both sides of things tonight.
Right, and I think that's true of the Democrats. We have a lot of things to feel positive about tonight, and tomorrow morning we'll figure out what this election means and go forward.
Okay, thank you very much for coming in tonight. We appreciate it. Sure. Back to you, Steve and Stacy.
Thank you, Cynthia. We wanted to take another look at the numbers in the race for governor. There we go. 93% of the precincts reporting Republican incumbent Kim Reynolds wins election with 50% of the vote, defeating Democrat Fred Hubbell. You see in the bottom corner of your screen, we're waiting for Hubbell to arrive and address his supporters tonight. When that happens, we will bring that to you live.